Very good. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Board of Fire Commissioners special meeting, Tuesday, June 7th, 2022, and the time is 9 a.m. Ms. Gomez, would you do a roll call, please?
What's Gray?
Here.
Babcock?
Present.
Hara?
Here.
Ibarra?
Present.
Ninberg?
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Okay, welcome.
Pardon me, I forgot Chief Crawley.
Good morning. This is Chief Hogan. I'll be standing in for Chief Crowley today.
Thank you, Chief Hogan.
Welcome,
and
Chief Hogan.
In place of City Attorney Linda Nguyen is Wayne Song.
Okay, very good. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to all the commissioners and all the staff, and welcome Chief Hogan and City Attorney Song. Did I get that right? Wayne. Okay. Chief, would you do the flag salute and the moment of silence for us, please, at this time?
I'd be honored. And those who choose, please stand and join with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And may I also ask that we take a moment of silence in honor of past and present members of the Los Angeles Fire Department who devote their lives to the protection of all our communities. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Chief Hogan. First of all, I'd like to say we're going to go to item 1, which is commission comments, and I'd like to say happy Pride Month. And I want to know our members to know that I see, respect, and love the fact that they're all a part of the LAFD, and love is love. And if there's anything we can do to assist, please call on us. Are there comments from other commissioners?
I guess I'll go then.
Good morning, Commissioner.
On Thursday, I attended the strategic planning process where it was a great turnout, and we had a SWOT analysis of where we are. And then we, talked about the mission and the vision, and then the core values. And I thought it was a great meeting.
Oh, very good. Thank you very much for attending that. Are there other commissioners with comments?
Oh, yes. Hi. Good morning, Madam President.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Chief Hogan, command staff, and everyone who's here today. Thank you. I want to echo your sentiments, Madam President, and wish everyone a happy Pride. I'm very excited. I heard that the LAFD will be in the Pride Parade again this year. And Chief Hogan, yes, they will be. It is such a fun and important parade. So I look forward to that one. And likewise, I support all those here in the department who are LGBTQ, and love is love. And we welcome you with open arms, and we're grateful you're here. I attended the high school magnet graduation, which was so inspiring, seeing, so many young people who had gone through this program. And I have to say, when I walked in, and it's a testament to Patricia Arias and Chief Hisong and his crew, but also it was the actualization of the motion that and the incredible work that Commissioner Andrew Glazier did to create that pipeline and really streamline it. He didn't create it, he streamlined it. And it was so inspiring. And many of them are interested in the fire service. And what was great is over 90% are going to go to college.
Wow.
It was up, and they reflect the city. I think over 30% were female. It was very, very inspiring. So the future does look bright and well-trained and ready. I also attended the strategic planning group, which was also very inspiring. And it was great. It was really, there was some diversity of thought at our table. You know, we just knew what was going on at our table. But really, for the most part, we were all on the same page. We all saw the strengths and where we could improve. So that was really, it was really great. And that's how we move forward, is just having these open, honest conversations and bringing everyone in. So I commend Chief Drake and Chief Kristen Crowley for conducting that very, very important strategic planning session. And then lastly, I found out about it a little late, so which was the Pioneer Women Award or event at the African American Firefighters Museum. And Delisa Davis, captain, she spoke about her experience. It was really inspiring. And I will say it was one thing that is, and I just want to bring this up, and I think it is of concern, and the thing that, the issue that most kind of took a lot of the air in the room was that we have not increased the numbers of African American females on this department in decades. And that is something that we definitely need to look into and really focus on, just what these women have brought to the table. And especially, you know, Latina women as well, but this was the African American Firefighters Museum. So just making sure that we're keeping everybody in the loop. And I'm just really grateful. I was grateful to go there and be there and be in that space at 14s. It was really powerful. So it was an honor. And I think that is it. Thank you all.
Oh, very good. Was there a movie, Delisa Davis? I heard that she's doing a movie, or there is a movie.
She showed, yes, I think she showed she showed a movie about her experiences in the department.
Oh, I'd like to see
and
that.
her life, you know, where she came from the military, how supportive her family was, and especially her dad. It was really inspiring.
Oh, great. That's wonderful. I'm glad that you were able to do that. And I'm really excited about the way the chief has started her administration by pulling in all of the stakeholders and having the input from them for the strategic plan. I thought that was a really great move also. So I'm so happy that Commissioner Ninberg and Commissioner Dr. Hara was able to go and attend that. Are there other commission comments? Okay. One of the things Commissioner Ninberg mentioned the parade, and I certainly will miss the parade, but I did inquire and know that we will be in the parade. I loved going to that parade. The spirit, and it's just such a great atmosphere there. And also today is election day, and I failed to mention that it was election day, and I hope that everyone who's listening to this meeting will have participated in the election process. Either will have already mailed in your ballot, or you'll drop it off at a polling center, at a voting center before 8 p.m. tonight, if you live in the city of Los Angeles. That is very key. Okay, very good. I want to at this time have Ms. Gomez give us the rules for public comment before we get to public comment so that people can be prepared.
Thank you. Written public comment received will be made part of the meeting record. Please note that we did receive one written public comment and it will be made part of the meeting record. Persons Persons may listen to this meeting live by dialing any of the telephone numbers listed on the cover of the agenda for this meeting. Should you dial one of these numbers, you will be able to listen to the meeting, but will not be able to give public comment during the meeting. Anyone wishing to address the Board of Fire Commissioners on any item on the agenda or to provide general public comment shall call 1-669-900-9128. When you are asked for meeting ID, please enter 881-2091-3045, followed by the pound sign. Then press the pound sign again to continue. You will then be joined into the meeting. To alert the board that you want to give public comment, press *9. You will be called on by board staff who may refer to you using the last 3 digits of the number you are calling from. When unmuted by staff, press *6 and please state your name. As a general reminder, public comment will be limited to 1 minute per agenda item and up to 2 minutes allowed for agenda items. At the request of the speaker will be afforded an additional 1 minute for general public comment for a maximum of 3 minutes total per speaker. Time cannot be ceded to another speaker, and an individual may speak only once during the public comment period. Only those who are in the queue when the president begins the public comment section of the agenda will be allowed to speak. These instructions may also be found on the front page of the meeting agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gomez. Okay, at this time, we will have the report of the fire chief. Chief Hogan, welcome.
Thank you, Madam President, and to the honorable members of the commission, Deputy City Attorney Song, and to the management and staff of the LAFD. My name is Armando Hogan, Chief Deputy in charge of Administrative Operations. I'm honored today to stand in for Fire Chief Crowley and share with you all of her recent meetings and events. I'll begin with a very robust schedule, and it began on May 18th. She attended the Women's Conference, Annaberg Beach House, which turned out really well. On May 19th, she attended the Central City Association's 26th Annual Treasures event. On May 21st, which was a busy day, it began with the St. Baldrick's fundraiser. Next, she moved to the Fire and EMS Magnet Graduation 2022 class. And lastly, it concluded with the Patriotic Dog Foundation event. On May 23rd, Chief Crowley was interviewed by the Notre Dame Academy from Green Bay, Wisconsin. And for those of you who know, she's originally from that area and is an avid Green Bay Packers fan, for those of you who wanted to know that trivia. On May 24th, she attended the Fleet Week presser event. On May 26th, she attended the 2022, the DSCA Senior Leadership Seminar that was conducted down in South Bureau. And then on June 1st, she attended the LAFRA Annual Picnic. She attended the Lollipop Theater Network Virtual Fire Station Tour. And then lastly, she attended the Dodgers Firefighter Appreciation Night, where, just to let the commissioners know, she represented us well. She actually threw from the rubber and she reached home plate. And it was just a bit outside, but I called it a strike. And that concludes the messages and events from our fire chief for those previous weeks.
Okay, thank you very much, Chief Hogan. We also had 3 other firefighters, three of our chiefs were throughout the ball or something there too, didn't they?
We had, additionally, we had Chief Everett was there, Chief Saunders was there, and Chief Kepner as well. So we were ready to support and do anything we needed to do.
We were well represented. It was very good.
Yes, ma'am.
I saw some of that in the news. That was good, covered by the media. Wonderful, very good. Next, under the chief's report is the interim medical director's report.
Yes, ma'am. We'll start with, if you want to start with the interim medical report, that'll be given to you by Dr. Sanko.
Oh, okay. Good morning, Dr. Sanko.
Good morning, Madam President and Commissioners. Dr. Steve Sanko, Acting Medical Director and Bureau Commander for the EMS Bureau. The following is my verbal report. Approximately 2.5 weeks ago at 3 p.m., I'm going to give you three cases that highlight some recent interesting events. Approximately 2.5 weeks ago at 3 p.m., a young family was sitting in their car outside the family member's house when the vehicle was sprayed with drive-by gunfire. A 2-year-old girl sitting in her car seat was shot in the left thigh as well as the right foot, while the 32-year-old mother who was in the front passenger side was shot in the abdomen while reaching back to shield her 14-month-old, who was also in the back in a car seat. Rescue 46 and Rescue 66 and others responded, providing prompt and appropriate care and quickly and effectively transporting to the local trauma center. Thanks to early notification, an advanced team of pediatric emergency physicians as well as trauma surgeons were waiting for the two at the door. Both survived and have since been discharged from the hospital. However, we know that the experience of these incidents has lasting effects, particularly on young people, in whom they're referred to as adverse childhood events, which are associated with increased prevalence of chronic medical illness, psychiatric illness, substance use disorders, and even early all-cause mortality. LAFD attends around 1,000 patients, over 1,000 patients a year who are victims of gun violence, nearly 10% of whom are kids. These events occur disproportionately in a small number of neighborhoods. About 40% of our gun violence occurs in just one of our 14 battalions, and 60% of them are made up of occur in just 3 of our battalions. LAFD members, the only healthcare providers who are actually on scene of these events, are uniquely positioned to work with community groups to identify and refer victims, their families, and also bystanders to resources to help mitigate the effects of these adverse events. Second case I wanted to mention was on June 1st at approximately 12:45 p.m. A 37-year-old female with a past medical history of schizoaffective disorder ran out of her medications and was having an acute mental health crisis, feeling anxious, tachypnic, breathing very fast. Now, using our old dispatch system that many other cities still use, would have resulted in summoning an ambulance and a truck or engine or possibly a life force. Using tiered dispatch system and our mobile integrated healthcare team, the caller was properly selected for transfer to a dispatch located advanced practice provider who provided telemedicine care, provided calming measures, and ultimately dispatched one of our field APPs who provided care on scene and cleared and transported the patient to an alternate destination, MLK Exodus. There, her medications were refilled. She was linked to services and follow-up, provided transportation back to her transitional care home, as well as social work follow-up. We estimate that this mode of care, as opposed to going to the emergency department, saved her and the system around $3,000, as well as about 10 to 12 hours of local ED bedtime at MLK ED, getting her more timely and appropriate care, getting in front of a mental health professional within about 25 minutes in her case, and opening up that ED bed for others in the community with time-critical emergencies. Wow. Our APPs have logged over 1,600 telemedicine encounters to date, one of the highest in the nation amongst 911 provider agencies, something to be proud of. And our transports to alternate destinations, including mental health, urgent cares, and the sobering center, have resulted in, wait for it, about 30,000 hours of bedtime saved in our impacted local emergency departments. And so these efforts are truly helping to make the system more efficient and get people the care they need at the right location at the right time. The last case I wanted to present was from June 3rd at approximately 3:45 a.m. A middle-aged man snuck into a local emergency department, was wandering around, appeared disturbed, and was directed to a bed to be helped. He then brandished a knife and started to attack staff, stabbing 2 nurses and a physician, an ED physician. Rescue 90, Rescue 99, Rescue 83, EMS 15, and BC 17 all quickly responded, and our tactical EMS team and others also quickly arrived. The 2 nurses who were assaulted and a physician were transported to a local trauma center with stable vital signs. The physician was taken to surgery. Both are in the process, all 3 are in the process of recovering. After a prolonged barricade and in close collaboration between LAFD and LAPD, the suspect was extricated from the room where he was at. No other additional individuals were injured. He was taken to another local ED for medical clearance. It's worth noting that roughly 70% of ED nurses and over 50% of ED docs say they've been physically assaulted in some form in the last 12 months. And this is thought to be actually much higher in pre-hospital personnel who have to deal with all of the uncertainties of the environments that they are summoned to. Just to give an example, in the last 5 weeks, in the last 5 days, we've had 5 reports of firefighter paramedics who have been assaulted during incidents on scene. So hats off to our responders who deal with a number of uncertainties and yet continue to provide outstanding care. That ends my report.
Wow. Thank you very much. It's always very interesting to hear the report. And we seem to hear more and more need for more and more mental health resources. And I'm really happy that the APP is working out so well, because that is phenomenal, the amount of hours that you're saving on bedtime, and the money and everything that goes along with that, and getting patients quick service. That's really remarkable, really, really remarkable. Can you tell me which battalions those were you mentioned that have the most gunfire injuries or something like that? You said there was about 5 of them, I think.
Yeah.
What? 4.
So approximately 40% of our assaults with firearms occur in Battalion 13, and we have another 10% that occur in Battalion 1 downtown, and another 10% that occur in Battalion 11.
Oh, okay, so it's 3 of them. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Madam President,
Are there any questions from the? I'm sorry, I heard a voice, but I don't know who it was.
That was Chief Hogan, ma'am.
Oh, Chief Hogan. Okay, Chief Hogan, you have comments?
No, ma'am. I just wanted to also share with you that Chief Poyer also has a delivery for you for significant incidents. We went immediately to Dr. Sanko, so I just wanted to bring that to your attention.
Oh, okay. Let me find out if the commissioners have any questions for Dr. Sanko, and then we'll go to Chief Poyer.
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioners, do you have questions for Dr. Sanko? Comments, concerns? Okay. I don't seem to hear. I can't see the hands, so if someone will assist me if you see hands, but I don't see or hear anyone. So
I just want to say thank you for this report and giving us a lay of the land. I didn't know about the gun violence that was so concentrated in Battalion 13, as well as 1 and 11. So this is really important, and this is really important information for all of us. So thank you very much. And thank you so much for all the work, as well as understanding that 5 of our staff have been assaulted in the last, what did you say, last 2 weeks? I mean,
last week, ma'am.
Right. Yeah, that's a crisis. So thank you so much for giving us this report.
Yeah, that is something that's of concern also. You're right, Commissioner, because we can't afford to have our paramedics assaulted out in the field. That's just making it. Firefighting is usually not that dangerous a job. We don't want. I don't know what we. I will have to talk about that more. What do we do to help to protect them? I remember many years back now, when actually police officers actually roll with firefighters. But I don't know if we're moving to that stage again, because that was, and then it kind of died off and things went kind of calm, I guess. But it's something that we have to look at, because we really cannot afford to have people attacking our paramedics. Okay, let's move to Chief Poyer. Chief Poyer, you have a report for us. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Chief Hogan, Alfred Poyer, Chief Deputy of Emergency Operations. So I'm here to give you a report on emergency activity for the past 3 weeks. 3 weeks ago, I reported a notable increase in our ambulance transports. Since our last meeting, We have averaged approximately 600 transports per day, which equates to about a 3% increase over our average last year. Of note, I just want to point out, while we have 93 paramedic rescues on duty each day, I also want to acknowledge the firefighter EMTs who ride our 42 BLS ambulances in our fleet every day. All of these firefighters and those 135 ambulances in our fleet do an outstanding job for our constituents. On the evening of May the 27th, 2022, Battalion 13 Resources responded to a help call involving RA 264 that resulted from 2 LAFD members being assaulted by a person suffering from a mental health issue. And this speaks to the issue that Dr. Sanko had talked about. 2 of our firefighter paramedics from Rescue Ambulance 264 were treating a patient with active seizures in the back of an ambulance. When one of our members moved to the exterior oxygen compartment of the ambulance to turn on the oxygen, the member was assaulted with a 1/2-inch metal rod by an unknown female not related to any party of the patient being treated in the ambulance. Our LAFD members locked themselves and the patient in the back of the RA and proceeded to initiate a help call while continuing to care for the patient. Both LAFD members sustained minor injuries when they were struck with the rod, and the members were able to, after getting treatment, were able to remain on duty, thankfully. Our battalion commanders across the city continue to collaborate with local LAPD watch commanders and local senior lead officers to identify trouble areas where our LAFD members may encounter problems. We are actively discussing these types of incidents and these challenges at the executive level of the department, and we're developing training materials related to de-escalation techniques for our members and many other strategies to ensure their safety. On June the 2nd, 2022, at approximately 4:18 p.m., resources from the LAFD Battalion 17 in Valley Bureau responded to a structure fire at 8121 North Ora Avenue in the San Fernando Valley neighborhood of Reseda. Ultimately, 38 firefighters took just 18 minutes to access, confine, and fully extinguish heavy fire in a 1,300 square foot, 1-story home. And fortunately, no injuries were reported. Though there was a reported behavioral emergency with the alleged fire setting by a person ostensibly associated with the residence prior to the first 911 call, the specific cause of the fire and circumstances prior to our arrival remain under investigation. And as you may have heard and probably know, the Summit of Americas event is here in Los Angeles this week. Mm-hmm. It's an institutionalized gathering of the heads of state and government of all the countries in the Western Hemisphere. And they are here in Los Angeles this week. The President of the United States and the Vice President of the United States are both here as well in the city. And your LAFD firefighters are part of the unified command effort supporting this event, both operationally and logistically. And it is our hope that you'll be able to avoid the traffic and that some positive comes of that. With that, that ends my report unless the commissioners or others have questions for me.
Okay, thank you, Chief Warrior. That was valuable information also. I understand that whenever the Vice President is in town, that we provide an ambulance available, make an ambulance available for her. I said, oh, that's exciting. We're doing all kinds of things in LAFD that we don't really know about.
Yeah,
and
she's in town
also to share, we've talked about women trafficking females and how the firefighters have been trained to look for that kind of a thing. And I had someone tell me a story this week that really was wonderful because they were very instrumental in helping to get a young girl away from her pimp. And it was so, I said, wow, that's great. I said, they've been trained to do that. They followed through on it and it worked. It was just, I mean, a 14-year-old who had been doing this for 2 years. It was really great to see them rescue her and get her out of there. And the way that it happened with their help. That was really great to hear. So the paramedics work and do many things that we don't know about and that help to make everybody feel better and more comfortable and make the city a better place, which is really great.
Yes,
Thank you very much.
Our firefighters and our paramedics all do a great job, and that's a great example you pointed out. Thank you.
Yeah, it's just they're just things that you don't hear all the time. When someone shares a story with you like that, not really knowing that you know something about what they're talking about, it's really it touches the heart, and it was such. I mean, that was really special. I'm telling you. Are there other commissioners with comments and concerns, questions? And I'm happy to hear that you're coordinating with the police department and that you're working on these issues already. So that will help, because we really have to protect our staff.
I just want to say thank you. Thank you, Chief Poyer, for the report. It is really important as well. And thank you for bringing that up.
Thank you.
Now, does an ambulance also assist go with the president? Do we assign one for him too?
Ma'am, we have a coordination with the Secret Service, and we don't really discuss those operational.
Oh, I see. Yes,
yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, very good. Let's move on to the next item on our agenda. And the next item on the agenda is public comments.
Morning. Caller ending in 682, area code 323. Oh, I had another one pop up. Caller ending in 403, area code 714. I've requested that you unmute.
You can hear me?
Good morning. Please state your name and the agenda item or items you would be speaking to, please.
Thank you. My name is Libby, and I'll speak on general public comment, commissioner comments, and item 6C, please.
Wonderful. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you. I'm calling because I'm concerned about the bullying and harassment that seems to be plaguing the LAFD. An LA Times article from a few months ago cites the workplace culture survey results that show that more than half the female firefighters reported bullying and harassment. I'm anxious to see the third-party training academy validation study get underway. We know there is a problem causing a huge percentage of female recruits not to graduate. In 2019, only 59% of women graduated in comparison to 92% of men. And in 2020, only 55% of women graduated in comparison to 89% of men. I'd like to know more about the experiences of those female recruits, and I hope you do too. Does the culture of bullying and harassment start at the academy? The study needs to happen and happen quickly so that effective corrective actions can be developed and implemented immediately. Furthermore, of those that make it through the academy and probation, they often still face an intolerable work environment, leaving us with an abysmal retention rate of only 53% of female firefighters hired in the last 7 years. You're supposed to be the stewards of our tax dollars. When hiring and training of a new firefighter costs in the neighborhood of $125,000 each, you're wasting millions of our dollars when the fully trained female firefighters don't want to stay on the job. Let me be clear, that's $6.875 million wasted on fully trained firefighters that are pushed out. And this at a time when we keep hearing about the firefighter shortage. It's even more concerning that there is such a lack of African-American women in the LAFD. In a city as diverse as ours, it's indicative of a very serious problem when we only have 8 Black women in the department out of 3,300 members. That's not even 0.25%. And according to the census records, the LA population is 9% African-American. According to the report being received and filed at this meeting, the Training and Support Bureau is hoping to find the funds to do a thorough, in-depth study of the training division next year. I call on this board to find that funding and get that study completed ASAP. It will certainly be cheaper to fund the study and correct the issues that are found than to continue to spend millions on recruiting candidates, training them, and losing them to the toxic culture we know exists. It's time to do better. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. We'll try again. Number ending in 682, area code 323. Good morning. Please state your name and the agenda item or items you will be speaking to.
Good morning. Dr. Clyde T. Williams, Citizens Coalition for a Safe Community President, and speaking on general public comment. Speaking regarding the brush clearance of protected tree species, black walnuts and live oaks, in the city of Los Angeles and the need for the Board of Public Works and Fire Commissioners to coordinate regarding the appropriate LA City ordinances. Some LA Fire Department experiences that I have had was 3 days at 3rd and Ogden back in the mid 80s when the Ross store blew up. I also had more favorable impressions with a meeting of Inspector Don Smith when we met on site in Northeast LA to consider brush clearance. The protected trees, black walnuts under the rules of the Board of Public Works, applies to any and all walnuts and oaks, trees, shrubs, bushes, whatever you want to call them, that have a cumulative diameter of 4 inches. That is, 4 1-inch stems is protected if it's a black walnut or an oak. So the Board of Fire Commissioners and LAFD brush clearance consider incorrectly such trees and shrubs as brush to be cleared and
Dr.
require
Williams?
clearance.
Dr. Williams, I apologize. Your 1 minute is up, but I defer to the chair if she'd like you to continue.
I can.
Let's give him another minute.
1 minute.
Because this brush clearance thing is important.
Yes.
Yes, because you're actually in conflict between Board of Public Works and Board of Fire Commissioners regarding what is brush and what has to be cleared and what requires a permit for brush clearance to clear walnuts and live oaks. So we're in a real problem here. And if it continues throughout this year, watch out for next year. And basically get it together, have a meeting with Board of Public Works. They're in charge of protected trees. They know what they're talking about. You know what you're talking about. And yes, I have reported maybe 6 different locations within Northeast LA that require brush clearance because you're not even following your own rules and regulations regarding brush. So maybe next year we'll see you in court. That's all.
Thank you for your comments. I see no other callers.
Okay, very good. Thanks you to the people from the public who came and participated. We appreciate your input.
Oh, a hand was just raised. I don't know if you'd like to accept it or not. I just saw it. I know there's a delay on my end sometimes when the hands show up, but there is one that just showed up. See number ending in 105, 805.
Are you saying that there are problems with the connections?
Well, usually for me, there's a delay. Other places see the hands sometimes before I do. So this person's hand, I'm just seeing now. It was not raised at the beginning of public comment, general public comment, but it's raised now.
I see. Okay, we'll listen to them, and this will be the last one.
Thank you. Number ending in 105, 805 area code. Please state your name and the agenda item or items you will be speaking to.
Freddie Escobar, all items. And for the record, I had my hand up from the beginning of when I called.
You have 3 minutes.
Well, thank you. Good morning, commissioners, everyone that's listening. Before I go and speak, my general comment is I'd like to see that this commission take the lead and start going in person to our fire commissions. I do not see a reason why we cannot be in person, as everything is opening up in the city of Los Angeles, and everybody always talks about leading from the front. It's time to lead from the front, and I'm challenging this commission to go in public. Speaking on agenda item number 6, Freddie Escobar, President of the United Firefighters of Los Angeles City, Local 112, representing over 3,400 brothers and sisters of the LAFD. Specifically regarding the Training Academy Validation Study for the LAFD. UFLAC always wants to make our department safer for our firefighters and the residents that we serve. Our members' health and safety are our top priority, so everything we do is done with this in mind. UFLAG supports conducting the LAFD Training Academy validation study, as the focus of this report will be on improving the drill tower process and analyze what can be done better to promote and protect all incoming firefighters. UFLAG would like to collaboratively with the LAFD to secure the necessary funding to get this study underway. Our goal is to partner with the department to produce information about how we can keep our drill tower as safe as possible while never, ever sacrificing the high standards of the LAFD. I'd like to repeat myself. Our goal is to partner with the department to produce information about how we can keep our drill tower as safe as possible while never, ever sacrificing the high standards of the LAFD. Thank you for your time.
Okay, very good. That was the last one, Ms. Gomez?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Thank you to everyone. Let's move on to the next item on the agenda, and that is item number 4, determination under Government Code Section 54953E1. To my knowledge, I have not received any notification from the City Council that things have changed with their directive as of the last press release rather. And this item is open for discussion. Chief Everett, did you have something you wanted to say?
Good morning, ma'am. The memo we're working off of is dated May 4th from the mayor's office. And I think Wayne Song is available also to provide you updates from the city attorney's perspective on that document. We haven't received anything new since the May 4th document that we've talked about in the past.
I didn't think that we had. Okay, very good. City Attorney Song, do you want to add anything that you may have learned that we have not learned since the May 4th directive press release?
No, I'm unaware of any additional directives at this time.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so commissioners, this item 4 is open for a discussion and a motion. Commissioner Nenberg.
Yes, I think that with the rise of COVID again, there are members of this body who are immunocompromised, and I personally am taking care of people who are immunocompromised. So it's imperative that we remain as healthy and safe as possible. I move this item for another 30 days, item 4A. And I agree with the city that we should be making sure that we are accommodating everybody, and until we can get a hybrid meeting, then it's not safe to do otherwise. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Now, is there a discussion on the motion? Commissioner Ibarra, yes. I saw you.
Yeah, so
that maybe you wanted to say something.
It's been my position. Yes. So it's been my position from the beginning that our members, our sworn members, never had the opportunity to work from home. So, so from the beginning, I've said that we need to go in person sooner rather than later, because I know that that people have personal preferences. I've sort of, refrained from being adamant about it. But I do know that everybody in the commission has been at public events, has been at parties, at VIP events. We're aware of that. So it's sort of, it sort of leaves a bad impression to our members who still go to work, who went to work before there was a vaccine, before there were any boosters. We had a fight about the vaccine. We had a fight about the boosters. And all of us were adamant that people needed to get the vaccine, needed to get boosted. So that we've all now gotten the vaccine, gotten boosted, and still do not want to come and be in public with them is, I think, I think we need to worry about the message that that's sending. I understand also that the directive says that the commission may remain virtual, does not have to remain virtual. So it's something we've also said at a certain point that we would do whatever city council is doing, and city council is in person. So we're not sort of following what we said that we would do. Having said that, I understand that the vote's going to be whatever it's going to be. But for the record, because I've said it before several months ago, and I still hold on to that position, I wanted to explain why I was not, I was refraining from voting. Today I will vote no. So thanks. That's all.
And just for the record, my position was that we would follow the directives of city council, not do what city council would do, but follow the directives of city council, because they pass ordinances and rules and issue press releases that give us directions. And so we would follow the directions. And the last May 4th direction is the one that we were looking at and following, just for the record.
And I also want to say that not all of us on this commission have been attending public events. So we need to make sure that we are protecting everybody. And, there's only one other commission that's meeting in person, and that's the Police Fire Pension Board. Police Commission is not meeting.
I think they have a hybrid meeting.
They're hybrid.
We don't have the ability to be hybrid. So
unless we move.
Yes, unless we move. So I just want to make sure that we're protecting everybody. And if we can go hybrid, by all means, let's go hybrid. That would be fantastic. But until otherwise, I am voting no. Voting yes to 30 days, sorry. Yes to 30 days.
Commissioner Babcock.
Yes, I obviously second the motion. I'll support it and be voting yes as well. Look, I'm for remaining as we are through the summer months at least. I understand there is an escalation in the number of COVID cases and whatnot, and I want to protect all of our commissioners and members and anybody that's immunocompromised with a almost 5 month old at home. Obviously, I'm waiting to get him fully vaccinated after full year of vaccines to not, get him sick in any way. But, we are going to be traveling this summer and we are out in public more. So I will continue to vote yes. I think I would like to see a hybrid option, at least by the fall. So if we can start to explore that, I know it's a little bit more challenging within our boardroom. I'll be the broken record and I'll say it again, but let's use our sister commission, the LA Fire and Police Pension Fund. They have a beautiful boardroom, everything state of the art. If we can come to that, hopefully by September. So again, I'm not rushing and pushing to get to that right away, but if we can, eventually that would be helpful. So that's just my 2 cents right now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any other comments or from other commissioners? Or
I see Commissioner Hara's hand is raised. He's on a landline.
Commissioner Hara. Oh,
yes,
okay.
And I've requested that he unmute.
Commissioner Hara.
I think we lost him.
No, he's there. Okay, I heard him.
Yeah, I'm on my telephone now. My computer, my microphone went out.
Oh, okay. Okay, very good. So we do see a slight increase in COVID, and that in my daily report that I get, it's increasing slightly. And the thing that concerns me most about it is that people who are fully vaccinated and boosted are also getting sick. And so everyone just needs to be cautious, regardless to what your situation is, there's a certain amount of caution that we all need to take, whether it's for a meeting or through your regular life. Okay, so seeing no more comments, then I will call for a vote of the motion is pursuant to Government Code Section 54953E1B-C and E3A and B1. The board has determined that COVID-19 state of emergency continues to directly impact the ability of members to meet safely in person, and possible board act, and so we would now vote on it. Ms. Lopez, Ms. Gomez.
Woods Gray.
Aye.
Babcock. I may have lost Commissioner Babcock.
Yes, I'm sorry. I thought I was unmuted. Yes.
That's okay. Thank you. Hara.
Aye.
Ibarra.
No.
Ninberg.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to the next item, item 5, the consent agenda items. We have 2 items. Are there any concerns or questions regarding those 2 items? If not, a motion is in order to receive and file.
Make a motion to receive and file items 5A and B.
Is there a second?
Second.
So it's been moved and seconded. Thank you, Dr. Har. It's been moved and seconded that we receive and file items A BFC 22-049 and B BFC 22-5050. Ms. Gomez, would you do a roll call, please?
Ms. Gray.
Aye.
Babcock.
Yes.
Hara.
Aye.
Ibarra.
Yes.
Ninberg.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you very much. Now we move on to the regular agenda. Item A is a report by the Department on Fire Prevention Activities, a calendar for the year 2021.
Chief Saunders, good morning.
Chief Saunders, okay. Good morning, Chief Saunders.
Good morning. Good morning, Madam President.
Congratulations on your baseball career.
Thank you. Good morning, Madam President, Commissioners, Chief Hogan, Council, Ms. Gomez. My name is Orrin Saunders. I'm the Deputy Chief of our Fire Prevention and Public Safety Bureau. And before you, we have submitted our performance-based inspection activity report for 2021, outlining 4 of our 5 sections within the Fire Prevention Bureau. This has the statistics and metrics for the industrial commercial section, our public safety section, our fire development services section, and our administrative section. Our 5th section, our Certified Unified Program Agency, which will report their performance in the near future. I'm incredibly pleased with our overall performance of our Fire Prevention Bureau as a whole. And and as you know, 2021 was a very challenging year for everybody. In many ways, the Fire Prevention Bureau has been challenged with members off duty with COVID, family illness, and members off leave without pay. And additionally, our workforce assisted a great deal of aid in utilizing our inspectors to work at fire stations and our dispatch center on some of the regular work days throughout the shift to assist with staffing shortages. So our workforce, both sworn and civilian, have been able to complete what we're able to do in spite of the challenges, and it's commendable. We're extremely proud of our workforce to be able to pivot based on the needs and immediate needs of the community and the department. This is really an important mission that our department members stepped up to and was able to include an overall 93% department and citywide. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Okay, thank you very much. Commissioners, are there questions for Chief Saunders? Commissioner Ibarra.
So just want to thank you for the report and to see the continual progress that you guys are making in that department. So thank you for your leadership with that.
Great, thank you.
Commissioner Ninberg.
Yes, I wanted to say thank you as well. I know that last year was unprecedented. I mean, except for 2020, which was also unprecedented in this century. So the fact that you were able to get as much done as possible is very, very, very much commendable. I just one question. I was just looking at this under re-inspections due, and I don't know what is the reason why it's 54% that are due on page 8. Is it, I don't know, is it the institutions, schools, hospitals, churches, are they, I remember that was a bit of an issue before, so I was just wondering about that.
Yeah, we continually prioritize the re-inspection. So as soon as we have an inspection that requires the re-inspection, try to prioritize that within 30 days to 45 days and really prioritize those. So some of our members were challenged to do some other tasks, but we still try to prioritize and make that to get those as soon as possible, especially the re-inspection when we have some type of violation that's been identified previously.
And but the institutions units, is it just because of staffing issues? It's the top of page 8.
Yeah, the top of page 8. Let me look at one other piece there.
I mean, I know people have been out sick, so just looking at it, and I just remember before we were concerned about schools, churches, institutions. Just that one just popped out, and so, and like
we did have some members, that were out in that unit as well, and one member detailed, so we're still trying to prioritize there. We do make it a priority, though, for all the institutions and schools to get out and make sure we get those inspections done. And but that is a priority for us to make sure we get those and the re-inspections as well.
So that was just that high number was because of people out sick.
And one additional detail we have to our public safety section.
Right, they got moved out of there. Got you. Okay, staffing issues again. Yes. All right. Well, thank you very much. Like I said, I know that it was unprecedented, so this is a very thoughtful and thorough report. And I hope that we can resolve those staffing issues as soon as possible. So if you need extra staffing, please let us know so we can add it to the budget so that our institutions and are inspected and we have enough people, because I know that you're all working. I mean, just listening to 3% increase in, transports, and I mean, everyone's getting recalled. It's taxing the system. And so once again, I do want to say, in spite of all of that, this is very impressive. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Mm-hmm. Because the schools and churches are down to 14%, but it's the institutions that were 54%. So it looks like schools and churches you're doing much better in the schools and churches. Just institutions were a little high.
Right. That's what it was. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, very good. We know that you're doing the very best job you can with what you have to work with. And these are different times. COVID has changed everything for everybody. And that we know that the department's primary goal is to maintain and keep everyone safe. So these inspections are important. Thank you very much for your report, Chief, and good luck.
Thanks, Commissioner.
Is there a motion to receive and file this report?
So move.
Second.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded to receive and file BFC 22051. Ms. Gomez, whoever roll call.
What's Gray?
Aye.
Babcock? Commissioner Babcock? I've requested that you unmute.
Yes.
Thank you. Hara?
Aye.
Ibarra?
Yes.
Ninberg?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you very much. Moving to item B, the department's mid-year budget report. Mr. Rodriguez.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
And President, Commissioners, everyone. Emilia Rodriguez from Administrative Services Bureau. Happy to report on the department's current year budget for fiscal year 21-22. We will report on the fiscal year 22-23 budget that was recently adopted by the City Council in a subsequent meeting. The fire department is operating on a budget of $746 million this year. The year-end deficit of up to $19 million is anticipated, as reported in the department's mid-year financial status report to the council, several weeks ago. The deficit is mainly attributed to a surge in sworn overtime expenditures earlier this year from emergency response deployments to various wildfires outside the city. Again, this goes back to the months of July through October. And most recently from recall overtime to address field vacancies. There were other contributing factors, which include a historic deficit in our fleet maintenance account, additional workload for contracted brush clearance. This was mainly taking on more parcels from Water and Power's controlled property, which are reimbursed, and civilian overtime for fleet maintenance, in addition to fire life safety plant check inspections and system support. Those are all contributing factors to the deficit. Mutual aid brush clearance expenses are reimbursable from the responsible agencies and property owners. So despite the deficit, we do get some of that back in the form of revenue to the request in the department.
Your audio, excuse me, Emilio, your audio just kind of faded a second ago. If you can just go back just a little bit. We can't hear you. Something died. I don't know if it's your microphone.
You're good now?
Yes,
okay.
Thank you.
I'll just step a little closer to the screen.
Thank you.
The request in LAFD's mid-year report to the council included a transfer of $5 million from the general fund to address shortfalls in sworn overtime accounts. In the year-end FSR that was released just this past Friday and heard by Budget and Finance Committee yesterday, the remainder of LAFD's deficit was addressed with approximately $15 million from the general fund. In the current year, funding for a fourth recruit class was added to increase the capacity to 225 recruits to meet critical field needs. That class went live in March of this year and will graduate at the end of this month. Moving on to revenue. Our revenue from various permit and ambulance fees and other resources is ending the year on a positive note, where the net increase in department revenue is just over 11 million for a total budget of 232 million. And that's an increase over the budgeted amount of 221 million. That's pretty much it as highlights for the report. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Commissioners, you have questions for Mr. Rodriguez? When you for the academy schedule, it appears that we will graduate. If we graduate all 51 of the recruits in the last class, we'll still be under the number of recruits authorized. Does that mean that we save money, or what does that mean?
Well, we have 51 out of 60 authorized. So my understanding is that some of those did not make it fully through the academy, and therefore the expenses were incurred. So it's just part of the typical 20% attrition we see in the academy program. So yeah, to answer your question, it would not necessarily be savings.
Okay, even if they don't go all the way to the end of the program, there's no savings?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
We know that the number appointed generally we don't graduate that many. But I was looking at the number of recruits authorized and it said 225, and I'm estimating that it will be 187 if everybody in the last class graduates.
Right, but
so that's almost like 38 positions that weren't filled.
My understanding is that the positions were filled at some point, but did not reach graduation, and the level at which recruits were, I guess, left the program. I wouldn't have that information. I'd have to look into it. But my understanding is pretty far into the program, so the savings would not be material. And we would have incurred expenses for, on the expense side, such as uniforms and other costs that go into the program.
So all the money would have been spent up front, right. And even if they drop out.
That's my understanding.
If they don't make it through,
right,
or fail at 2 months or 3 months or whatever.
Correct. So that 20% attrition is really our kind of true cost of, running the programs.
I see. Okay, commissioners, are there any other questions? Okay, very good. Thank you very much. You always do a very thorough job on the financial end, and we appreciate that. Seeing no other hands or persons wishing to comment, I will entertain a motion to receive and file.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we receive and file BFC 22-052.
Thank you.
Ms. Gomez, would you do a roll call, please?
Gray.
Aye.
Babcock.
Yes.
Hara.
Aye.
Ibarra.
Yes.
Ninberg.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. We'll see you with the next report on this year's budget soon, right. I hope.
Yeah, looking forward to that. We should have that over, the next
Okay,
month.
Very good. Thanks so much. Okay, moving to item C, 6C. Let's see. Let's do that for 6C. Who's actually doing 6C?
Good morning, Madam President. That's Chief Skelly from Recruit Services.
Oh, Chief Skelly. Okay, I'm looking at this paper. Oh, I didn't get to the. I'm fine. How are you?
Excellent. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Very good. Good to see you.
Thank you. So good morning, Madam President, Chief Hogan, and Commissioners. Ms. Steve Skelly, Battalion Chief, serving as the Recruit Services Section Commander. I'm honored to present to you an update on our request for a third-party validation study. Back in September of 2021, the Commission asked for a report on the feasibility of a third-party validation for our process and potential for disparate impacts. Our current program has been modeled and after recommendations from previous studies. Training and Support Bureau welcomes this study, as it's been several years since we have had a third-party analysis. As requested by the Special Bid on April 5th, this is just a 90-day report back on the project. The Training Division has reached out to a third-party consultant to get an estimate for a cost of an in-depth study. Pleased to report that we have received a preliminary statement of work from that third party, and we'll be hoping to fund that project here in the next fiscal year. So we're definitely moving forward, and as the calendar clicks to the new fiscal year, we should, within the next 90 to 120 days, we should have developed a full scope of the project and be able to report you on those findings.
Okay, very good. Thanks for the report. Are there comments, concerns, or questions from commissioners? Commissioner Lindberg.
Yes. Hi, Chief Skelly. Thank you so much. This is great news.
Yeah, we're moving forward.
Yeah, that is fantastic. So, so you're going to get the scope of work. You're going to create the scope of work. Is there?
Yeah, we have a preliminary. There's a preliminary scope, and we'll be refining that and working with obviously now with our stakeholders and with the vendor to refine the exact the scope and the goals and the what assessments will be made.
And this vendor, is this like the only, like, was there a reason it was just the only person that responded back? How many people did you reach out to? Or how many organizations, I should say?
We were reached out through training and support office, and this is the one that got back with us that I believe is has already done work with us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. And I mean, I don't know, is it, this is excellent. I'd love to see that and see the scope. That would be really like what exists already. And I just am impressed that this department is moving forward with the third party validation. And this will this cover the physical assessments? Of the department, so the physical tests?
Yeah, it'll be a holistic look at the drill tower.
Okay, excellent. It's not just curriculum.
It'll be everything.
Okay, excellent. This is really really exciting, and I think that I just want to thank you so much for this.
It's important. I think all of us would agree that we want our LAFD members to be the best possible that they can while meeting the standard and meeting the goals of our city.
Yeah, exactly. And also making sure that it's really, if there's any adverse effects, that it's open to everybody, and that to ensure that our department reflects the city. So I'm thrilled. This is great. Thank you.
Very good. Are there other questions, concerns, or comments from other commissioners? Okay, seeing none. Chief Skelly, thank you very much for your report, and we look forward to further updates from you soon. Thank you very much. Is there a motion to receive and file this report?
Motion to receive and file.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we receive and file BFC 22-053. Ms. Gomez, would you do a roll call, please?
Yes. Woods-Gray?
Aye.
Babcock?
Aye.
Farah?
Aye.
Ibarra?
Yes.
Lindberg?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much. And the next and final item on our agenda is D, and it's a verbal report by Chief Graham Everett. Good morning, Chief.
Morning, Madam President, Commissioners, Chief Hogan, Wayne Song, and Leticia Graham Everett, Deputy Chief, and I serve as the Chief of Staff. Today, I'll provide you with an update of our COVID numbers as we've reported in the past. The total number of department employees, as you know, 3,746 members. Of that, 3,279 are fully vaccinated, which is a percentage of 87.5% of our workforce is vaccinated. We have 337 exemptions on file that from folks that are not fully vaccinated. 31 of those are medically related, 19 are both medical and religious related, and 287 of those exemption requests are religious basis requests that were made. Among our active duty members, 363 members have been served with notice to comply. 126 of them became compliant before being placed off duty. And then 237 of those members were placed off duty. Of that 237, 210 have become compliant and have returned to duty. 17 have resigned or retired early. 1 member has been discharged, and 20 members remain on unpaid administrative leave. On that number, we do have another member coming up on the hearing this week. Our current number is a slight uptick that we had from our last meeting. We have 13 members at home isolating with an active case of COVID-19. We have 11 members that are unable to return to duty at this time due to their post-infections. And one member on light duty hasn't returned to full duty yet, but is returned to a restricted capacity. Those are the updated numbers for today. I'll answer any questions if anyone has any.
How many hearings have you had, Chief? You said you have 1 member who's coming up for hearing.
Yes, ma'am. So we've had 1 completed Board of Rights, and we have another one scheduled for this week.
Ooh, that's going to take you guys a long time, huh? It seems like a slow process.
Well, it takes a while to get scheduling and procedurally to follow the charter mandates and all the procedures we have to follow. It does take some time.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're moving through that process.
Okay, very good. Thanks, Commissioner Ninberg.
Yes, thank you, Chief Everett. So how many are sworn and how many are civilian?
Well, I don't have a broken down sworn and civilian. I just have department members. We manage the sworn side out of planning section.
Can you give those numbers, and can you at the next meeting can you also give those numbers and break it out by sworn and civilian, just so we know? I think it's good for the public to know, who's forward facing and out in the field. How many have come back from personnel exemptions? How many have come back?
Around 150 of our exemption requests that were sent to personnel have been returned to us with their different statuses.
How many were approved and how many were denied?
To my knowledge, 149 were approved or 149 were denied and 1 was approved.
Okay, so 149 were denied. And what happens? What is the process then?
So the members are notified that their exemption was approved or denied. If their exemption was denied, they have the opportunity to appeal with the general manager or the fire chief. That appeal process has to be adhered to within 5 days of receiving that denial. The fire chief will take a look at those appeals and render a decision on the appeal. If the exemption was approved, then there needs to be a discussion about reasonable accommodation, and that process is being followed as well. So there's still legs to the process beyond if they file for an appeal.
Okay.
If they don't file for an appeal and they get denied, then there's days built into the agreement that allows members time to get vaccinated at that point.
So do you know where we're at on that? How many people have been given an opportunity to get vaccinated? Where they're at in that process?
Not individually, but I do know that several members have filed for an appeal with the fire chief. Those have not been reviewed at this time. We offer vaccinations for everyone at all times. So
right, and that's not the problem.
Right.
Yeah.
But in terms of when the appeals will be heard, we don't have a timeline at this time, but they are in the queue to be heard by the fire chief, and so we're standing by for that.
Okay, so they're in the queue to be heard, and then that process.
I should say reviewed. It's
right.
It's an appeal review.
Okay, and all right. So can we get the next report? Can you give us the status on all of those? Somebody's joining us.
Little junior commissioner.
Yes, I'd love to get that status to see where we're at. I know that these boards of rights also, it's a lot of work, you know, and it takes a lot of time, and we have a staffing crisis. So are any of these members placed on leave during this time when they were denied, or they just put in for appeal, they continue doing the testing twice a week and then wait for the appeal and then wait for the board of rights?
Right. So the members that have filed for an exemption and have wherever they are in that pipeline, they're still compliant to the ordinance because they're testing, they're wearing their mask and they're testing. So they're compliant to continue to work. The members that are in the queue for board of rights are not compliant to the ordinance. And so those are the 20 members that are leave no pay
off.
That are off. Right.
Okay. Yes. All right. Excellent. So for the next report, if we could get that, you know, all broken out by sworn, civilian, how many came back from personnel, how many were approved, how many were denied, just get that all so that we know where we stand, because it's getting 149 denied. That's a lot of work.
That's my understanding.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and you have 287 religious, 31 medical, and 19 both. So that means of the religious, and you're looking at a lot, possibly. I don't know, maybe it's medical. I'm not sure. That was approved. More of religious was approved. I don't know. So, all right. Well, thank you. I look forward to the next report.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay. Are there any other concerns or comments from other commissioners? Okay, seeing none, thank you very much, Chief Everett. And we look forward to hearing from you at the next meeting. So with that, that is the last item on our agenda. Again, I want to say Happy Pride Month. Let's celebrate our diversity. And let's vote today, whether we live in LA or if we live in California or any of the 5 states that are voting today, because we have firefighters all over the place. So let's vote and exercise our rights to maintain a democracy. Thank you so much for everyone who attended this meeting, and I will accept a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we adjourn the meeting. Ms. Gomez?
Woods Gray?
Aye.
Babcock?
Yes.
Hara?
Aye.
Ibarra?
Yes.
Ninberg?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much. And thank you, City Attorney Song, for assisting us today.
Thank you. Have a nice day, everyone.
Thank you all. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.